here at Farnborough, outside of the ACHR Aviation's chalet. It's not a chalet, is it? It's more like a mansion or maybe a palace. But I love it. Look at the design, the black and gold and the details. I think it sends a message to the rest of the sector. We are here and we have come here big. ACHR Aviation second quarter 2026 earnings call. That can change a lot because we had some massive news in the morning. But is it as good as it looks like? Well, there's only one way to find out. Hey up everyone, welcome to Martyn, Lucas Investor. And Vaz, do you know what time it is? It's time to start talking eVTOLs. Thank you for joining me. We are covering ACHR Aviation. Bear with me, I'm just quickly checking. Right, ACHR Aviation, good big pump this morning. I do apologize, I got a bit excited. And I hit the table, and the connector on my camera sometimes gives in. So ACHR Aviation, we had a massive pump, 25%, exactly over 25% this morning. Why? Because we have some big news. It is ACHR acquiring Boeing subsidiaries and Boeing acquiring a stake in ACHR Aviation. Interesting. Well, if we have a look at the chart, I've been telling you all morning that this could sell off. And I've been telling you in Discord, in our private members Discord, to take your profits. I hope you have been taking your profits because we had a retraction. We had a big retraction and a big sell-off. Coming closer to the closing bell, we had big sort of dump or correction, if you will, just for ACHR to start buying back in for the earnings call. Is this a good time to buy? To me, not. Because I'm not sure if there will be some more good news on the earnings call. This is huge news, and you could see the massive reaction of the markets. But I'm not sure the actual earnings is going to bring us some groundbreaking news, because we are looking at three things. We are looking at balance sheet, which will not be affected by the Wisk, Insitu and SkyGrid acquisition and the Boeing stake, because that is now third quarter. We are still reporting second quarter. So we are looking at ACHR's runway. We are looking if they can keep up their cash burn or if it's increasing. What is their runway? Secondly, we are looking at progress on their certification. Unless ACHR give us good quantification of their progress, markets might not digest this very well. And the last one, they don't want to lose to Joby, because Joby last week have announced they will be starting operations in the United States as early as September, literally 2 months away. Maybe even less now, because we are almost mid-August. ACHR don't want to fall behind on this, because that will be the main spotlight of the year. The initial eVTOL initial pilot program framework supported by the Department of Transport, the current United States administration, and the FAA to deploy and accelerate early deployment of the advanced air mobility and the eVTOL sector. So this will be at large. Together with that, I was hoping and I was expecting and I was betting that ACHR would announce their completed transition of their piloted prototype of their Midnight aircraft. Unfortunately, we didn't hear the news in the morning, but it's not lost yet. We might hear the news on the actual earnings call. There's only one way to find out. The numbers, we are 2 minutes away from the closing bell, or 1.5 minutes now. The numbers will be coming out in next 5 to 10 minutes, and the results as well. In the meantime, we'll be tracking the stock chart. In the meantime, I will give you full chart analysis by Sensei as well, our stock chart and crypto expert. And in the meantime, we'll be diving deep into this Boeing deal when ACHR are acquiring three good businesses: Wisk Aero, Insitu, and SkyGrid. I would like to ask you, everyone, to hit the like button and subscribe. We are 1 minute away from the closing bell, so let's wait for the closing bell. Or, you know what? Let's not. Let's not. What if I give you a little teaser? Let me give you a little teaser of ACHR Aviation. What are we talking about? Well, as Martyn mentioned, I have visited the Farnborough International Air Show. Let me put this here so you can see me as well talking over it. I have visited the Farnborough International Air Show and I engaged with ACHR directly. This was their chalet. You could see it in the opener of this show, of this coverage. That what it looked like on the outside. If you have a look on the inside, it strikes me as a luxury, high-end brand. It looks quite posh, doesn't it? Posh is the word. What I'm getting is the high-end sports car vibes, and I think you would agree with me. Yes, we have a bit of everything in this footage, but have a look. Have a look. This is unedited raw footage from Farnborough, so you might see some behind the scenes updates as well, and some little hints. But this is the ACHR Aviation's aircraft Midnight, designed to vertically take off and land. In the meantime, before the landing, vertical landing and takeoff, we have transitioned into the horizontal flight. The horizontal flight is the most efficient. And we have a closing bell, so bear with me. Let's just ring the closing bell and let's have a look at the charts again. So let's ring the closing bell. Right now, we are ringing the closing bell as we speak. ACHR Aviation closing at $6.27. It's nice because we are 12% up. Thank you for subscription. We have new subscriber, Douglas. I hope you have been enjoying the coverage so far. ACHR, 12% up. Exactly 11.99% up on the day. Coming to the closing bell. When the results come out in next 5 to 10 minutes, we will see massive move. Let's have a look at the rest of the market because ACHR and Joby, they usually follow each other in terms of stock price. And then the rest of the eVTOL market, they obviously follow and copy. So what you could see, this big spike in the morning, Joby copied that as well, just to break over the $9 barrier for it to sell off $8.60 or $8.53 respectively. Now Joby is coming up to the closing bell, $8.83, 2.2% up. That's not bad. Vertical Aerospace was not copying very accurately. There's more news and more story. It's both. It's mixed. It's good news for the business, not so good news for the investors. We'll have a look into that tomorrow. I promise I'll be back before the closing bell show. Definitely you don't want to miss this. I will be there with a full analysis, giving you all the ins and outs. We are in talks with Vertical Aerospace. I'm trying to get some more information, some more details of what's going on. And obviously Thursday morning will be Vertical Aerospace's earnings call. That can finally put some clearance, put some clarity into what has been going on. As I said, for the business, it's a good piece of good news because Vertical Aerospace have got access to $100 million funding for the retail investor and for the investor who is not protected by warrants and other stock caveats. It looks like quite bad dilution. Again, let's have a look into that tomorrow. Looking at EHang, that is completely different story. Horizon Aircraft, first time in few weeks and maybe a couple of months, breaking through the $2 barrier. And you could see it copied the ACHR's pump. Eve and Mobility doing very well. We are now looking out the $3 mark. Once we get through the $3 mark, and the shareholders letter is out. So let's quickly wrap up this. And we have Beta Technologies who sold off, reporting earnings on Wednesday morning. I have got the shareholders letter here. So let's have a look what we've got here. Let's quickly have a look. That is loading. Please bear with me. Go anywhere. In the meantime, you can see some more footage from ACHR Aviation. I'm trying to, there we go. So, second quarter shareholders letter. There is a lot of news that'll be happening in this letter. This is a bit unusual. This is a bit unusual coverage. So I will be sort of jumping in and out. I'll be reacting to the news because I've got analysis here in terms of the Wisk, Insitu and SkyGrid acquisition and the Boeing increasing stake in ACHR. So we'll be a bit in and out, but don't worry, you will get the full depth of the analysis. What you can see here is ACHR Aviation's Halo aircraft. ACHR Aviation have developed and announced on the Farnborough International Air Show on day one their new platform. It is an Attacker hybrid twin tilt rotor aircraft, unmanned aircraft, semi-autonomous or fully autonomous when it comes to it eventually. And it's supposed to be a partner, a wingman, an autonomous wingman, sort of, if you want to call it disposable. I wouldn't call it disposable because it's fairly expensive. It's a fairly expensive asset, but it's still less expensive than a $50-60 million helicopter, which has got 2 trained pilots on board. So this asset is slightly more disposable or replaceable. So they announced this platform, which is called Thunder. That is for the military and defense sector. And I will be bringing connections from the acquisition ACHR have announced this morning. And also a variant of this aircraft, where you can see right next to me, it's called the Halo. Halo is pretty much the same aircraft, but not armed. The aircraft will be used for civil applications. Think of it autonomous deliveries. Think of it offshore transport. Think of it emergency medical services eventually. Think of it maybe a firefighting version. You name it. From what we could see, the configuration, the variety is endless. So that is Halo. By the way, the aircraft looks much bigger in real life than you can see in the picture. A letter to shareholders, second quarter 2026. So what highlights do we have? ACHR signed deal to acquire Boeing's Wisk, Aero, Insitu and SkyGrid in a highly strategic transaction, with Boeing to invest in ACHR and collaborate. Well, you heard the very comprehensive analysis from Martyn, where he dug deep into their financial position. This is probably not improving their financial position, because there is a bit of dilution behind it as well, and we'll get to that very shortly. I'll tell you all the ins and outs, but this is increasing ACHR's sort of credibility for long term. This is increasing ACHR's capability, because Wisk Aero are pretty much on par. They were competitors with ACHR Aviation. They are developing the flying taxi as well. However, they are developing an autonomous platform. Insitu is an autonomous, unmanned autonomous system or aircraft, very well established business. SkyGrid, I do apologize, I want to say it right. It's digital airspace and air traffic management technology. So we are playing some chess here on behalf of ACHR, which is great. And again, this will root into ACHR's position. Not only that ACHR have access to all these businesses, ACHR also have access to Boeing. Boeing is supposed to provide one director, one member of board for ACHR Aviation. Let me just check the chart, by the way. Completely missed the chart. I got carried away. We don't have any movement. We had a spike. Let's have a look. We had a spike, very short spike towards the $6.60 mark, which we've got marked up on our chart, by the way, and just for it to retract. So as I said, there might not be some breakthrough news anymore. Let's get back to the shareholders letter. So Boeing is giving potentially access to ACHR, not so much on the civil side, but in the defense and military side. Because Boeing is one of the biggest players, not only in the civil side, not only the civil airplanes, but we are also talking defense. Next highlight, unveiled Halo and Thunder platform, jointly developed autonomous hybrid VTOL platform designed to serve both defense and commercial applications with Unreal. So again, that was just a highlight. We will deeper dive into it very, very shortly. ACHR announced Z, ACHR's artificial intelligence foundation model, purpose-built for aviation and its frontier breakthrough for aviation safety. ACHR also launches ACES, America's consortium for electric skyways, to bring interoperable charging to more than 250 sites across the United States by 2030 with Beta Technologies and Macquarie Capital. And this is very interesting because I got involved in the panel or in the presentation about this. I was in the same room with Adam Goldstein and Kyle Clark from Beta Technologies. And you will see, I might give you a little preview of that, but you will see this very, very shortly. Very interesting conversation and very interesting play for long term. ACHR completed piloted city-to-city midnight flights as we prepare to begin operations later this year under the White House's eIPP. I want to hear more. I want to hear the exact timeline. Otherwise, this is no good news for ACHR short term. Strong liquidity. Second quarter ending with 1.6 billion of cash and cash equivalents. Well, let's have a look. Let's not read through this. We will hear this from Adam Goldstein himself. That is his opening remarks. That was long. That's usually not this long. I can't wait to hear from Adam. Look, 1, 2, 3 pages. Wow. Adam is usually very brief. He's usually like 3/4 of a page. So ACHR is building the physical AI future of aerospace and defense. We will get to that very shortly. Wisk. Okay, let's unfold the story. Now, ACHR, $6.22, $6.23. We have slight sell-off. We have very, ever so slight sell-off. Let's wait for the earnings call because the updates and answers of Adam Goldstein can move the chart. Autonomy technology and top talent to accelerate our aircraft programs. 6 generations of aircraft over nearly 20 years. That is what Wisk is bringing to the table. End-to-end flight autonomy stack designed to achieve the highest commercial aviation safety standards. That is exactly what we need. We need to merge ACHR's experience and knowledge and technologies together with Wisk's properties. Critical enabling tech, multi-sensor detect and avoid suite, precision landing technology, and in-house simulation solution with advanced software verification and validation capabilities. Obviously, when you have your autonomous aircraft, it needs to navigate in the airspace or in the space. So you need lots of sensors, and these sensors need to be coordinated. These sensors need to be driven. By the way, if you just joined, we are covering ACHR Aviation. I can see more people coming in. Let's have a look at the chart. This is Martyn, Lucas Investor. I am Vaz. We are bringing you ACHR Aviation's second. I do apologize. I see now I've got, oh dear, I've got wrong ticker. Let me quickly fix that. Bear with me. I do apologize. Hang on. Let me quickly fix that. I do apologize. I didn't notice. Okay, let's quickly fix that. ACHR news. Bear with me. We are fixing it right now. That is this one. There we go. Let's quickly get it right. Oh dear. Oh dear. ACHR. Right. There we go. There we are with ACHR Aviation and the right ticker symbol. My apologies, but you can see the right ticker symbol here. ACHR currently slightly selling off, $6.11. $6.11. Let's see how low this can go. I will very shortly bring Sensei on the show, and he will give you the full chart analysis, how we can trade this, what moves we can expect. Very comprehensive stock chart analysis. Don't go anywhere. He'll be here with us in a few minutes. So, we've got also leading intellectual property portfolio, over 700 patent assets in key areas. We also have Insitu. I mean, ACHR couldn't do any better job, probably better than me explaining the whole story. So let's go through it one by one. One of the most trusted and reputable ISR drone companies in the industry. It's exactly what I said in the beginning. Pioneer in the design, development, production, and operation of high-performance, cost-effective tactical Group 2 and 3 uncrewed aircraft systems. By the way, this aircraft, what is it called? The integrator has done fair few miles. It's got quite decent progress. So the integrator, is this aircraft. This aircraft over here, I'm not showing. This is the integrator. And let me just quickly explain what's going on. It's leading pretty much the market in terms of endurance. It can fly up to, or cover up to 27.5 hours flight. That is massive. That is over one full day. Range up to 2,000 nautical miles. And payload up to 20 pounds or 50 pounds or 23 kg. So all of this can be instruments or can be ordnance as well. It's got up to 10 payload bays. So quite interesting layout. And maximum takeoff weight is 79 kg or 175 pounds. And its ceiling is almost 20,000 feet, which is about 6,000 meters. Very, very interesting. Insitu also develop other platforms. Oh, there we go. They are doing it for me already. They are developing Scan Eagle, which is a long endurance Group 2 tactical ISR, small footprint workhorse with 18 plus hours of flight time and up to 17 pounds of AI enabled payloads. How about that? So ACHR are acquiring all this property as well. And it's not that ACHR will start manufacturing these aircraft tomorrow. The whole deal, we'll get to that very shortly, but the whole deal is a bit open. It's what we signed yesterday was just sort of the agreement, but the deal is expected to be closed by the end of the year. However, it can stretch. It is expected to stretch all the way to March 2027, and also there is optional another 3 months. So eventually, we can see this year, we can see this deal being closed almost in a year's time. Just saying, just something to bear in mind. But what is also important is giving ACHR access to over $200 million annualized revenue and profitable with customers across 35 countries. We are talking the United States. We are talking the United Kingdom. We are talking the United Arab Emirates. These are all key sectors where ACHR and the eVTOL and the advanced air mobility will be deployed and is expected to be deployed as early as this year. And then coming through all the way to 2028, when we should see first operations in the United Kingdom. So ACHR are opening very good access to all these markets. Let's just quickly have a look. ACHR, I'm getting some updates and messages. Second quarter revenue rose to 5 million. Net loss widened and major Boeing acquisition were announced. Let's have a look at the chart. $6.18. We are not moving yet. I think the main decision will be for the chart to move on the call when we come to the Q&A section, because I think all eyes are now focused on the eIPP, because Joby will be flying as early as in September this year. ACHR don't want to stay behind. ACHR don't want to miss the boat. They really should give us some more updated and more concrete timeline. Now let's quickly explain SkyGrid, next generation airspace management solution, highly complementary to ACHR's Z. So ACHR's Z is their own AI autonomous module. Now we are blending this together with SkyGrid, AI solution enabling safe integration of autonomous aircraft into shared airspace via next generation technology. And this is important. This is important because if we are talking about airspace, we are talking about the flying taxis moving across cities. These aircraft will obviously be channeled through corridors. These aircraft will have their own paths. It's not like you can do your pretty much free ride and aerobatics routes. These aircraft will be strictly channeled through corridors and flight paths. However, you have other elements. You have helicopters in the air. You have low-flying fixed-wing aircraft eventually. You have approaching aircraft to land on your airport. But what is the most important part and the biggest nuisance you need to deal with is drones, is the low altitude mobility, low altitude airspace. If you have a look at Amazon, they already have started deliveries. If you look at Zipline, if you look at Walmart, they are delivering through Zipline. All of these are already operating in the shared airspace. And the last thing you want is a collision with an uncoordinated drone that cannot coordinate with the air traffic control. So all of this is very important for the future deployment. Might not be important now because this technology is still in development and still in progress. However, this will be important for the early and advanced deployment. So ACHR, as I said, they have been playing some good game of chess here. It fuses critical data sets to form a high-efficiency digital model of the airspace. This is literally what I just said for the air traffic controllers. It delivers advanced automation and decision support tools, flight path validation, plus automated traffic surveillance, synchronization, deconfliction, and rerouting. Exactly. Because you need to communicate with your air traffic control, with your local air traffic control. And the air traffic control sort of coordinates everything. So you have your local traffic control coordination and modules that feed the data to the air traffic control of the local airspace. We also have high assurance technology backed by robust safety cases, cybersecurity controls, very important point, and rigorous engineering. Spatial pathfinding algorithms have calculated collision-free trajectories for more than 10,000 simultaneous aircraft in large metropolitan area simulation. So this is exactly what we are talking about. This is exactly what we are talking about. Up to or even over 10,000 aircraft and coordinate these in the air. It's not only helicopters, it's not only aeroplanes, it's not only the flying taxis, it's mainly the drones. And as we move on the timeline to the right, there will be more and more of these drones deployed. Other highlights from the quarter, well, I hope we will see the financial situation. Unveiled Halo Thunder. Okay, I will leave this to Adam. We will hear and see more from Adam. Announced Z, ACHR's AI foundation model, purpose-built for aviation. Again, I will leave this for Adam, or maybe for later when we have more updates or when we have more time. ACHR currently sitting $6.20 5, there is a slight delay between Robinhood and TradingView, but we are not going anywhere. There is a slight recovery, but I wouldn't pay any attention to it yet. Let's wait for the Q&A section. Excuse me, because I have no doubt one of the questions will be about the eIPP deployment. And the answer Adam Goldstein is going to give us can move the chart drastically. Completed city-to-city midnight flights in preparation for the eIPP operations. In July, ACHR's midnight aircraft completed a piloted round-trip journey between Salinas Municipal Airport and Monterrey Regional Airport, with each leg completed in approximately 9 minutes, compared to over 35 minutes by car. The flight was executed in close coordination with the FAA and marks a critical step towards ACHR launching midnight operations later this year under the eIPP. Again, I think we need to see a timeline. We don't see a timeline. If ACHR leave this question open, I think there'll be a negative reaction. Behind the scenes, we've got some preview. Oh yeah, that is Halo for you. That is the beautiful aircraft. I saw Thunder at the Farnborough International Air Show. And you see the man here next to me. The aircraft is probably 50% bigger. It's quite intimidating, actually. The Thunder, the military version, is fairly intimidating. And I was looking at it and I'm thinking, wow, I don't want to be on the wrong side of this aircraft. I really want to have this aircraft on our side. There she is, Unreal Thunder, with various configurations. All these pods can be configured, can be loaded with other with various instruments and payload. More pictures of Halo. That is Adam Goldstein at the Farnborough International Air Show. That is their chalet. As you could see on the opening, it was huge and amazing. I mean, ACHR were sending a clear message, and I loved it. I really loved it. Somebody called it the Donald Trump Hotel, and I couldn't unsee it. But, I mean, jokes aside, ACHR really delivered what they were coming for. We're not coming there to attract wide public. They were coming there to do the business. And you could see there were visitors coming in and out all the time. I spent a bit of time outside through the show on various days, and I could see there were vans and minibuses bringing the visitors in and out. When I had my interview with Tom Muniz, shortly after that, there were more and more visitors. Then there was the panel between Adam Goldstein and Carl Clark about the charging network. And after that, there were more visitors from the United Arab Emirates as well, from the GCAA. As you can see in the picture, there you go. This is the panel. I will give you a little preview of that as well. It was very well led. You have seen a little mock-up of ACHR Midnight and their ACHR Halo platform as well. And the November 703 Alpha X-Ray flying first airport-to-airport flight in the public airspace. There is some charging preview, very interesting. That is Beta Technologies and their CCS, the universal, they call it the USB-C of eVTOL charging or electric aircraft charging. We will hear more on that on the call. The ACHR Aviation's specific foundation model. Here is some simulation. No doubt we'll hear more from Adam Goldstein on the call. He will be elaborating on it. And do we forward-looking statements? Let's have a look at the balance sheet. But before we do that, I'll give you full analysis by Sensei. Full chart analysis by Sensei. Let's quickly have a look if we have any surprises. Building the physical AI future of aerospace and defense. Okay, that is ACHR Midnight. We don't have the balance sheet. Okay, so that's fine. We will have a look. So let me bring Sensei on board. And that is full chart analysis by Sensei.
Yolanda's asking yes. Let's have a look. ACHR. Oh, in fact, talking about Archer, Vaz wants me to do an Archer chart because it's the earnings tomorrow. So Yolanda, maybe I'll turn this into a clip.
Sensei is doing it now. There we go.
42 minutes. Let me write that down. 42. Archer Aviation earnings are today. Have the earnings already come out? Have they not? Well, either way, let me tell you the chart for Archer. We've just got requested this in our private newsletter event by Yolanda with the Archer events coming up. And I know Vaz wants to share this technical analysis. So maybe you're watching this on Vaz's earnings. So thank you for tuning in to Vaz's earnings. Let me give you my opinion on Archer. So Archer's currently at $5.59. You have just got back above the support of $5.40. You've got that big resistance zone between $7 and $8 on Archer. So if we're having a good earnings, if we've already had a good earnings, maybe we've popped up between $7 and $8. That will be a level of resistance. There will be some selling in that area between $7 and $8. Maybe I would set up some sell orders at $7.
Okay, let me just stop Sensei there, right? Let me just stop Sensei there and bring you today's chart. Did he really say $7? Yes, he did. Look at that. We literally just went by few cents over the $7 mark. But that was Sensei. That is the chart, what it looks like. This was last night, the analysis, before the market opened, before the news came out. But have a look. Sensei, quite spot on.
$8. If I want to be out the stock, if I think it's going to go lower, then potentially we can reverse at those levels. Again, I don't give financial advice. This is just my thoughts and opinions only. So the level of $7 is resistance. And so is $8. So you've got sort of a zone there. On the downside, I see support for Archer at $4.87 and also $4.14. So a bit of support on the downside. We do have a long-term uptrend running on Archer. From the lows of $1, then $2, then $3, and that long-term uptrend will very very nicely coincide with support between $4 and $4.30. So very very strong support at $4 to $4.30. If we have an awful earnings, then I would always have. And again, eVTOLs are volatile, so you can have some massive swings on good earnings and bad earnings. I would have some limit order set up just in case, between $4 and $4.30. And then on the upside, if I do want to sell, I would have some limit order set up at $7 and $8. So good luck to everyone. Those are the levels I'm watching on the upside. And then on the downside, obviously you've got a bit of volatility coming up, and then the days to follow with earnings as well. So that's my thoughts on Archer. As long as you're above $5.40, I'm bullish. As soon as you break below $5.40, then you've got a road to potentially the levels we haven't seen for many for over a couple years, which would be that level between $4 and $4.30. Good luck, Faz, with the earnings. I look forward to tuning into the show as well. And thank you, Yolanda, for the suggestion as well. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sensei. So that was Sensei. He was quite bang on with the $7, $5.40. As you can tell, we are I would say we are far away from that. But is this going to happen in the coming weeks? We are expecting the tech sector to possibly sell off. We are expecting the carry trade to unwind. There could be more headwinds. So that's why I told you in the morning, do take your profits on Archer. And I've sold everything just because I've been rebuilding my portfolio, right? Let me just get this straight. It's not that I'm day trading in and out. I'm like a bro. No. I have been investing in the eVTOL sector for 2 years, over 2 years now. I had to start liquidating end of the year because I was invested. I've decided to invest in myself. So most of the assets I was selling on the way up. Obviously, I made good profits. I was selling on the way up. Then I started investing in myself, buying gear, so I could go to air shows. I can engage with the OEMs directly, like Archer, Joby, Vertical, Horizon, and more. And unfortunately, I had to make the decision to start selling my assets. And luckily, it was before and maybe at the beginning of the pull down of the eVTOL sector. So now I am rebuilding. I've started rebuilding my portfolio. And I have very limited cash position. And I know we have about 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 at a push, before the eVTOL sector wakes up and it starts going up. It's not financial advice. This is how I am seeing the eVTOL sector from the inside. So in this time, I'm trying to maximize my gains. Obviously, if I had enough cash, I would have bought on Friday, and I would let it sit in there for ages now, forever. I cannot do it. I need to maximize my yields. So that's why I'm sort of trading. I have been trading all week. I have traded Joby on the earnings. I have traded what else did we trade? Amprius earnings. I did a trade on, I don't remember now, but currently I'm about 18% up in 8 days. Not bad, is it? So that's why I told you, take your profits, and that's why I sold this morning. Because when I saw the news in the morning, I'm thinking, well, the earnings might be a bit mediocre. And so far, it doesn't look like a big breakthrough earnings. Yes, we had a big news in the morning, but there's more to it. Give me a few minutes and I will explain what it means for you as an investor. Let me just quickly put up a poll. Is ACHR Aviation a buy, hold, or sell? Buy, and I would like you to vote as well, please. Buy, good. Buy, hold, sell, and undecided. Undecided. Poll is live now. Please do cast your votes. I want to hear from you. I want to see what you are thinking of this. Now, let's approach the elephant in the room. Let's approach the elephant in the room. Boeing is not giving away these assets for free. They are taking a stake in ACHR Aviation, and Boeing already had some shares from the previous lawsuits with Wisk Aero. So Boeing are increasing their stake. So what we are looking at, I just need to say it the right way. So let me just look in the notes, because I don't want to say something wrong and then being attacked for saying things incorrectly. So bear with me. I'm just going through my notes. I want to say the numbers right to you. So Boeing receives new shares equaling to about 19.75% of ACHR's pre-closing share count, which mathematically equates to roughly 16.5% of the enlarged base share count before adjustments and warrants. So essentially what we are doing here, we are diluting ACHR by 16.5%. And this is one of the reasons why when the hype cooled off, ACHR sold off. This is not that, yes, Boeing have access to these shares right now, but the deal is not closed. I don't know the exact details of it, but as I said, this deal is expected to be completed by the end of the year, this year, 2026. So we have 4 months, roughly. Could be earlier, could be sooner, or it can stretch all the way, or the deadline for this deal is March 2027. But that's not it. There is an extension period of another 3 months. So the latest we can see this deal being closed, all the legal side, all the details of the agreement, is summer 2027. Now, Boeing is also getting access to some warrant packages. We are looking at 2 warrant packages. So warrant 1, share count determined by $100 million divided by ACHR's 5-day moving average immediately before closing. Exercise price is $13, and the exercise window is approximately 12 to 36 months after closing. And we have warrant 2. Share count, again determined by $100 million divided by the pre-closing VWAP. Exercise price, $17.88. Exercise window is approximately 12 to 48 months after closing the deal. So there is a 19.9% beneficial ownership and voting limitation on warrant exercise, although Boeing can waive that restriction under the agreement. Boeing's consideration shares also carry a 12-month lockup. Not only that, Boeing have access to ACHR's leaderboard. They are putting their director through this agreement because they have acquired certain amount of shares, certain percentage of the company they own, so they can provide, or they should provide, their director on the board of directors. That's not to control ACHR, very likely, but that is to track their progress and potentially give them access to the Boeing's capability, if you will. Because we already said Boeing have access to the military and defense. Now, this is dilution, unquestionably, but unlike ordinary capital raising dilution, shareholders are receiving operating business, technology, and revenue producing assets in exercise or in exchange. So are those assets worth giving Boeing roughly 1/6 of the enlarged base equity? Well, maybe not short term, but long term, I would say yes. So me personally, with ACHR, I would not rush to buy it yet. I'm not saying it's a bad business. We are in pre-production stage. And let me just check the balance sheet as well for you, because I want to see their financial situation. Let me quickly check the balance sheet. The earnings call starts in about 18 minutes. In the meantime, definitely hit the like button and subscribe if you have not done yet, because we are bringing you updates on the eVTOL sector. You're only 20 minutes of the eVTOL market updates you need daily. Right, let's have a look at the balance sheet. Where are we with this? ACHR have changed their website, by the way. Very modern and very, very interesting design. I just struggle to navigate. Press release, webcast, view all results. Bear with me. I'm trying to bring up the numbers on the screen. There we go. Revenue has increased. Revenue has jumped significantly. $1.6 billion, mainly through the Hawthorne Municipal Airport acquisition. Through the operations. Now we are looking at $5 million. I want to hear from Adam Goldstein where this money is coming from. Is this supply to Anduril for the Oman aircraft? Is this secured through the Thunder platform development? Or is this coming from operations? Total operating expenses, $284.2 million. And net loss, $263.2 million. Just in line with guidance. We were between, I think, 180 and 260. Let's have a look in my notes. So, the guidance was, bear with me, there was a lot to remember. Adjusted EBITDA expected between 170 and 200 million dollars negative. So we are well within the guidance. We are on the better side of the guidance as well, which is good. ACHR are not increasing their cash burn, and I want to see their guidance for the third quarter, because then we can reassess what is their runway. Again, we are looking at roughly $1.6 billion. So if we keep this, if we keep burning 180, or if we say, for the sake of very quick and easy maths, $200 million, we factor 20% for upscaling per quarter, because ACHR are in pre-production, pre-operation. They will need to upscale. They will need to bring in more human resources. They will need to build more aircraft. They will need to set up their production line. They will need to deploy more capital into their operations. So we are looking at 1.6 divided by 2. So we are looking at a similar range as Joby. 5 to 6 quarters is a safe estimate. Yes, everyone will say, oh, that's wrong, it's 8 quarters. Well, it's not, because the business is scaling up. The operations are scaling up. The business is growing. So let's just not base this on this quarter. Let's project the actual growth, the international operations, the international deployment, the defense into this as well. So my estimate is 5 to 6 quarters. It's not bad. We are looking at the end of 2027. Liquidity and cash flows. We ended second quarter 2026 with 1.560 billion in cash. Cash equivalents and short-term investments on our balance sheet, and an additional 7.3 million of restricted cash. Our second quarter of 2026 cash equivalents and short-term investments decreased by 215.3 million from first quarter 2026, primarily due to the 156.4 million cash used in operating activities, 37.1 million used in the purchase of property and equipment, and 25 million used in acquisition of the fixed base operator business at the Hawthorne airport. Revenue, 5 million, as we expanded operations at the Hawthorne airport in Los Angeles. Very interesting, very interesting. Hawthorne is expected to be the test bed for ACHR's operations, not only across the United States, but worldwide. We will hear more from Adam. I will leave this to Adam. If not, we can look into that deeper after the call. Operating expenses increased by 28 million from first quarter. Design and development efforts for our hybrid aircraft and the development of our AI foundation model. Okay, second quarter net loss increased by 45 million. Primarily driven by 28 million increase in operating expenses, 18.8 million decrease primarily in non-cash gain for change of fair value. Okay, we will hear on the call. They always elaborate on it. Adjusted EBITDA, just been through it. Third quarter 2026, this is the number we are after. ACHR's financial estimates for the third quarter of 2026 are as follows. Adjusted EBITDA expected to be a loss of 170 to 200 million dollars. We are getting memberships donated. One of our biggest, if not the biggest supporter of the channel. Thank you very much, Robs. Thank you for the new members joining in.
I can't believe this.
I hope you have been enjoying the coverage. We are 12 or 11 minutes away from the actual call. Let me just quickly refresh it. Do we have any more? We have not reconciled our adjusted EBITDA estimates because certain items that impact non-GAAP metrics are uncertain or out of our control.
I can't believe this.
Can't believe this. Cannot be reasonably predicted. In particular, stock-based compensation, expense, and change in fair value of warrants is impacted by the future fair market value. Okay, so we might see some guidance revision through this quarter as well.
I can't believe this.
Quite interesting. Quite interesting. Thank you for all these new memberships. Let me just quickly check if we are getting, if the lobby is open already, because we don't want to miss this. We definitely don't want to miss this. Go.
I can't believe this.
Lobby is open now. I will mute this. And we are ready. We are very ready. We cannot be any more readier. About 10 minutes away. We are about 10 minutes away from the actual call to start. And you know what? Why don't I give you a little preview, a little
I can't believe this
of what is coming on the channel. This is Tom Muniz, the Chief Technology Officer I engaged with at the Farnborough International Air Show, and I did quite deep interview with him as well. That is coming out in the coming few days. We had to align some bits together on both ends, but the interview will be coming hopefully this week. Chief Technology Officer. I mean, who else could I bring you? Yes, Adam Goldstein, the CEO, but trust me, he was very busy. Anytime I walked past or I was in, he was engaged with visitors, customers, regulators, government visitors, government representatives as well. But that is the little interview preview for you. What I would like to show you as well is the ACHR's Midnight aircraft. And this is me sitting in the actual cabin. And look at the level of standard. Look at the high level of passenger standard. Very modern, very stylish, and sports car, high-end sports car design. A bit difficult to get on and get off the aircraft as well, but I hope ACHR will address this going forward. As you can see, it wasn't as easy. You have to sort of tuck yourself in backwards. Got a special message from one of the supporters as well.
At High Energy Investments tipped $2 through Super Chat.
You cannot hear
Thanks,
it possibly.
Vaz. Rocket emoji, dollar bills face emoji.
Yes, you can hear it. Sorry, I just checked my settings. Thank you for your special message, High Energy Investment. I know you are big into ACHR. I hope you have taken some profits and you have made some money. So that is ACHR's Midnight aircraft. Very high standard, but the passenger experience could be possibly slightly better, in my opinion. What else we've got here? We've got the more detailed look into the cabin. We are about 7 minutes away. 7 minutes away from the actual earnings call to start. ACHR sitting $6.21, not moving, waiting for the earnings call. Are we gonna go up? Are we going to hear the answers we came here for? Or is ACHR going to stall? You pardon the pun. That is the passenger cabin. As I said, very modern, very sleek, sports, luxury sports car vibes. These seats behind the pilot, actually, they give you a very good view because you can literally see over the pilot and you can see out of his cockpit windows as well. So that is ACHR Midnight for you. We are 6 minutes away from the earnings call to start. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this. What do you think of the cabin? Let me know what do you think of the cabin. Do you like the design or not? Is it too much, or is it hitting the spot? Is it just hitting the spot for you? Let me know what you think of that cabin. And that is obviously a little tail view, a little back shot of the aircraft. Again, ACHR, top-notch presentation. I mean, I've seen ACHR a few times already. Always, they know how to steal the show. They know how to dominate. They know how to present themselves. I mean, kudos to them. Congratulations. Everything very nicely polished to the highest standard you can think of. And obviously, the aircraft looks very good, doesn't it? What I would like to give you a little preview of is the panel with Adam Goldstein and Kyle Clark from Beta Technologies. This panel was describing how ACHR and Beta Technologies are going to build the charging network of over 250 charging sites and charging points across the United States. Very interesting update. Very interesting to hear from excuse me, from Adam and Kyle as well. Do apologize. A little preview for you. That'll be coming out very soon as well. Very interesting topic you don't want to miss. And as I already mentioned, as I already said, the Archer's Chalet was very busy. There is more preview from the panel, from the conference. As you can see, quite few visitors. And this was the invite-only event, by the way. It's not that you would turn up and go there. That was an invite-only event. And what we've got here is the visitors after. And as you can see, it's getting quite busy. All visitors, all business partners, media, customers, potential customers, regulators, and Archer's Chalet was like this most of the time, really. What is the stock chart doing? What is the stock chart doing? Sitting at $6.23, currently not moving, waiting for the earnings call. There was one more thing I wanted to bring to your attention. RSI, Relative Strength Index, which is basically it's showing you whether the stock is oversold, overbought, or within like the reasonable levels. The RSI this morning was 98% for Archer. You can barely go any higher. The highest is 100 you can hit on this scale. So the RSI for Archer this morning was up to 98%. That's why we had this big spike of 25%. Currently, and also we sold off. As you can see here, we sold off through the day. We went below that level of 30 RSI, 30 points. Now we are sitting comfortably in the middle, $6.22. We are about 2 minutes away. We are about 2 minutes away from the call to start. I am listening in. We are ready. We are covering the call. The lobby is open. We are very, very ready. We are getting votes in. Is Arch Aviation a buy, hold, or sell? Buy, hold, sell. Undecided. Buy 38%. Hold 21%. Sell 22%. Undecided 19%. Let me just get this straight and resonate what Martyn was saying. What Martyn was saying in his analysis. We are well in the pre-production phase. We are in the early revenue phase. And it's going to take a bit of time for Archer to start generating proper revenue through sales of their aircraft, through deployment of their technology with Anduril, through probably deploying their product somewhere else. And now we have the acquisition of, I do apologize. We have the acquisition of, my apologies. I've completely lost it. We have the acquisition of, I can't find the name. I do apologize. We have the acquisition of Insitu. We have the acquisition of Insitu, which should be bringing us 200 million in revenue. What is the profitability? We don't know yet until the next quarter, but we will find out on the next quarter. The call is about 1 minute away. The call is about 1 minute away from starting. What is the news going to be? What is the update going to be? Are we going to hear some good news? Are we going to hear some good news on the certification? Because in the shareholders letter, we didn't see anything on certification and we didn't see any timeline on the operations launch. There we go. We have a presentation.
Yes, and welcome to the ACHR Aviation second quarter financial.
The earnings call is starting right now.
Session. If you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 to raise your hand. To withdraw your question, press star 1 again. I will now hand the conference over to Kate Kuehl, Head of Investor Relations. Please go ahead.
Welcome to ACHR's earnings call. This is Kate Kuehl, ACHR's Head of Investor Relations. Today, we will be making forward-looking statements that are based on current assumptions. We don't undertake any obligation to update those assumptions as a result of new information or future events. Risks and uncertainties may cause our actual results to differ materially from those contemplated by these statements. For more information about potential risks and uncertainties, review the risk factors in our SEC filings. Today, we will also be discussing both GAAP and non-GAAP financial measures. A reconciliation of those measures is included in our earnings release from today. Now, I'll turn it over to Adam. Adam?
Thanks, Kate. Today marks an important inflection point for ACHR, so let me spend some time walking you through the rationale for the exciting transaction we announced with Boeing earlier today. We entered into agreements to acquire 3 highly innovative Boeing-owned companies, Wisk, Aero, Insitu, and SkyGrid, in exchange for Boeing taking a strategic equity stake in ACHR. We anticipate closing the transaction by the end of the year. This partnership will help accelerate the evolution you've heard me talk about for a long time. ACHR is a diversified aerospace and defense platform with a physical AI product portfolio that will span air taxis, unmanned aircraft systems from Group 2 to Group 5, purpose-built AI for aviation, and the vertical technology stack for autonomous flight. Let me walk you through how we got here. I founded ACHR with one goal: finding the most efficient path to commercializing air taxis, and built a world-class team to do it. We remain incredibly focused on this goal as air taxi will always be core to our mission. And Midnight is well on its way. We went from an unknown in 2018 to the front of the pack on FAA certification today. Defense, as I've been saying for the last 18 months, is becoming one of the largest near-term markets for the VTOL industry. We first announced our partnership with Anduril at the end of 2024. Palmer Luckey, one of the founders, had come to me with a concept for an autonomous, dual-use loyal wingman for attack reconnaissance helicopters like Apache, and they chose ACHR's team to build it alongside them. Since then, our teams have been building this aircraft together. ACHR took all our learnings from years of eVTOL development, airframe design, rotors, powertrain, and actuation systems, knowledge from the Midnight program, and put it into something new: a clean sheet, autonomous, hybrid aircraft platform for both commercial and defense. Last month at Farnborough, we jointly revealed the Halo Thunder platform, and I'm confident it is revolutionary, not evolutionary. Unlike what many others are doing, this is a clean sheet, first principles approach targeting both commercial use cases including logistics, humanitarian, medical, and maritime, as well as multi-decade defense programs of record with allied forces. This is why, for the past year, we've been assembling a world-class Halo Thunder team focused on developing this platform. With this transaction with Boeing, we can utilize Wisk's incredible talent to round out that team. Wisk traces back to Larry Page, who gave this industry its start nearly 20 years ago. And they're right down the road from us here in Silicon Valley. Their engineers have spent nearly 2 decades building some of the most advanced autonomy, flight control, and sensor technology in the industry, designed from the start for autonomous flight. The opportunity is clear to me. Deploy and harden the technology on Halo Thunder first, then fold it into future iterations of the air taxi when the FAA is ready to certify autonomy. I am confident that our planned acquisition of Wisk can accelerate the Halo Thunder program at a fraction of the time it would have taken us to achieve the same results organically. As part of this transaction, we will also acquire Insitu, one of the most trusted and reputable intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance (ISR) drone manufacturers in the U.S. It is profitable today with over $200 million in annual revenue across 35 countries. They have built more than 4,000 Group 2 and 3 UAS to date. Those UAS have flown nearly 2 million flight hours autonomously, giving it one of the largest data sets of its kind. And that data will feed directly into our autonomy development. Insitu will give Archer an immediate, sizable revenue base to grow from. The key driver of this transaction was the relationship we've built with Boeing, especially former Wisk CEO, now VP of Product for Boeing Commercial, Brian Utko. Boeing is synonymous with American-built aviation, and the deal structure shows how leaned in they are on our future together. All stock with a lockup, a collaboration across many new fronts, committed future equity investments in Archer, warrants at exercise prices far in excess of our current price. For both companies, the core of this deal is the opportunity to jointly drive innovation across aerospace, defense, and autonomy and deliver long-term value for shareholders. I want to thank Kelly Ortberg and the Boeing leadership for the trust and belief in Archer as the right long-term partner. Importantly, I've tasked my team with integrating these companies in a thoughtful, synergistic way that will not structurally increase our overall cash burn. The focus is clear. On the other side of this deal is a stronger Archer with an end-to-end physical AI platform for aerospace and defense. Last quarter, I called Archer a dual threat company, a nod to our air taxi and dual-use autonomous eVTOL aircraft program. This quarter, we shared more on the strategy for the third key pillar of our diversification approach, purpose-built AI for aerospace and defense. We introduced Z, the world's leading aviation-specific foundation model. Z is a unified intelligence platform built on ADS-B, ATC communications, maps and charts, aircraft movements, terrain, and weather data. And just last week, we announced that Z has delivered a breakthrough in aviation safety, highly accurate real-time prediction of airport surface trajectories. To bring this technology safely into the aviation ecosystem, our teams are working with the government agencies and customers to rigorously validate Z in the real world. We couldn't be more excited to pair Z with SkyGrid, and we believe together those technologies can deliver a next-gen air traffic management product that can play a critical role in modernizing airspaces around the world. I see a clear path to significant AI revenue, and the team is heads down building toward it. Now let me circle back to Midnight. Through it all, air taxi remains a top priority, and the program made tremendous progress this quarter. This quarter, we flew multiple piloted aircraft on an almost daily basis across our fleet, and oftentimes those aircraft flew multiple times a day, in testing across piloted VTOL and CTOL flights, including our first intercity flights here in California. And over the next few months, you can expect us to begin flying in the LA area based out of the Hawthorne Airport, and subsequently commence operations under the White House's eIPP later this year in Texas. We also continued our industry-leading progress against our FAA certification program for Midnight. I believe we remain the only industry OEM to be out of policy and in the fourth and final phase of the FAA's type certification process with a fully accepted means of compliance. Notably, this quarter, the FAA approved our quality management system, which hardens our ability to perform FAA for-credit conformity findings across the aircraft, as well as its components and systems. We're actively working with the FAA on for-credit testing this year. On the infrastructure front, we co-launched ACES, the American Consortium for Electric Skyways, alongside Beta and Macquarie. It's an industry-first approach to deploy interoperable charging infrastructure across the U.S. and align OEMs on a unified approach, which is critical for scale and to lower cost for consumers. I'm proud to take this on, arm in arm with Kyle and the team at Beta, and look forward to welcoming many others who want to join the mission. We are executing all of this from a continued position of financial strength with $1.6 billion in liquidity. I started Archer to change the way the world moves. Nearly a decade in, I've never been more confident or more all in. With that, I'll turn it over to Priya.
Thanks, Adam, and good afternoon, everyone. Building on Adam's remarks, the last few months, culminating with today's transaction announcement, are truly an inflection point for Archer. With the planned acquisitions of Wisk, Insitu, and SkyGrid, coupled with our recent unveiling of Halo, Z, and ACES, we're rapidly advancing our diversified multi-platform strategy across air taxis, UAS, and AI to lead the next generation of aerospace and defense. We strongly believe we are uniquely positioned in the sector as we look ahead, both in terms of product portfolio breadth and depth, as well as both near-term and long-term revenue generation potential. Insitu today is a profitable business, generating more than $200 million of revenue a year. That, in addition to our existing air taxi platform, our Halo Thunder platform, and aviation-focused AI solutions, will significantly change the profile for Archer and our path to meaningful revenue in the years to come. We're not just an air taxi company anymore. In parallel with our focus on growing our top line, we remain focused on managing our net cash burn. We expect the planned acquisition to bring meaningful synergies across all platforms, Midnight, Halo Thunder, and Z. We will remain disciplined about investment across each of our platforms. Let me share the framework we will use to maintain that discipline quarter over quarter. First, advancing Midnight to certification and scaled operations remains a top investment priority. We expect to generate near-term revenue through early operations, both in the US and internationally, and scale thereafter following certification. Second, for Halo Thunder, our Group 5 UAS platform with Anduril, we've already been investing in technology development over the past 24 months. And as Adam discussed, we're excited about the potential for the autonomy capabilities from Wisk to further accelerate that development timeline. We are focused on getting this platform to market as soon as possible, as it carries a total TAM greater than $100 billion in the decades ahead. Midnight and Halo development timelines, with their individual peaks and troughs, align well, allowing us to stay focused on efficiently and synergistically leveraging our engineering talent across air taxi and UAS platforms. Third, for Z and its product portfolio, our near-term goal is for our AI solutions to be revenue-generating and profitable as early as next year, with the potential for significant ramp in the back half of 2027 and beyond. Finally, we expect Insitu to contribute positive free cash flow after closing, allowing the business to operate on a self-funding basis and potentially offset spend in other areas of our business if we are able to grow their business as we expect. Taken together, this framework gives me the confidence that we can grow the top line across our business while, post-acquisition close and through integration, keep cash burn relatively flat from where it stands today. Now let's switch gears to the results from the current quarter. I'm happy to report on very strong financial results for Archer. I'll focus on three key highlights. First, we continue to maintain a very healthy balance sheet with $1.6 billion in liquidity at the end of Q2. Second, we grew revenue to $5 million for Q2, which is a 213% increase over last quarter. This was driven by our growth in operations at the Hawthorne Airport in LA. Third, we met our spend guidance. Q2 adjusted EBITDA was a loss of $177 million, which is on the lower end of our guidance range of $170 to $200 million, and only a slight increase quarter over quarter. These results are an early indication of our ability to grow the business while staying measured in our use of cash, which is exactly what we must do in this next phase for Archer. For Q3, we estimate our adjusted EBITDA loss to stay within the same range of $170 to $200 million as we continue to mature the Midnight Flight Test program, including our operations under the eIPP, continue development of Halo, and advance our AI solutions. Looking ahead, in addition to these key priorities, our focus will be on closing the transaction with Boeing as soon as possible, with a target of end of year, and then integrating the business efficiently and effectively. It all comes back to the old adage: execution matters, and we are committed to delivering against the framework I laid out, maturing our diversified product base to fuel a growing top line, all while controlling spend. And with that, I will turn it back over to the operator.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. Please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up. If you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 to raise your hand. To withdraw your question, press star 1 again. We ask that you pick up your handset when asking a question to allow for optimum sound quality. And if you're muted locally, please remember to unmute your device. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster.
And certification as well.
Your first question comes from the line of Savi Syth from Raymond James. Please go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Just with the announcement of Halo and Thunder. Can you hear me?
You're back now, Savi.
Yeah, it's not our end.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Could you, with Halo and Thunder platform versus the Midnight platform, I was wondering if you could kind of compare and contrast like some of the technical differences there, and kind of what it might mean kind of from a parts procurement, production scaling, as you work on those two kind of platforms in parallel, and just how much you can kind of share between the two.
Yeah, hey, Savi, this is Tom. Happy to answer that. The way to think about Halo and Thunder is this is a clean sheet, new platform targeted at a totally different mission than Midnight. So this new aircraft is targeted at flying heavier payloads much further, much faster than we can do with Midnight. And that's all around this different market that we see both in the defense side, where we're partnered with Andrew, on the civil side. And so in order to do that, though, we've been able to leverage a bunch of the core, I'll call them like technology building blocks that have been put together for Midnight. So those are things like our batteries, electric motors, et cetera. But then obviously the one new piece of technology is the hybrid system in this aircraft. So by going hybrid, that's how we're able to unlock the ability to travel much further, faster, more payload, et cetera. In terms of how we're executing on this, it's still early in the development of the Thunder Halo platform. Target is to be in the air next year, and then working towards customer deliveries in 2029 and kind of scaling, 2030 kind of from there. But progress has been tremendous so far. Interest has been fantastic. So really excited about it.
That's helpful, Tom. And just maybe with kind of the acquisitions announced today, I was wondering if you, and this is a broader question just beyond the Halo Thunder, just how do you envision kind of day 1 to day 365 kind of post-merger in kind of getting the engineering teams from kind of the different businesses to start kind of working together, and when you can start kind of realizing some of the synergies or some of the kind of the benefits in accelerating some of these developments?
Hey, Savi, this is Adam. So if there ever were two eVTOL companies that could come together, it would be Archer and Wisk. And the reason is we both built 12-tilt 6 architectures, but we approached it from a different perspective. So Archer focused on finding the most efficient path to commercialization, while Wisk focused on autonomy and advanced flight controls. And so there's really nice overlap, but there's also complementary aspects that make a lot of sense for these companies coming together. So there's going to be an exploratory period to figure that out. We see it as an incredible enhancement in capabilities. And so we're excited to dive in. And there's also a lot of capability overlap and synergies working with Insitu as well. So Archer obviously has a lot of experience in VTOL products and new VTOL products. And so as we look at the ISR drone market, that is a large but growing significantly market. And so there's an opportunity to take a lot of our core technologies there and keep building for that market as well. So still early in a lot of this exploration, but that's just a general framework of how we're thinking about it.
Helpful, thank you.
Your next question comes from the line of Andres Shepard from Cantor Fitzgerald. Please go ahead.
Hey, everyone. Congratulations on the quarter, and thanks for taking our questions. It was great to see everyone at the Farnborough Air Show last month. Adam, lots to unpack here and certainly a lot of great developments. I guess it's clear that Archer no longer is an eVTOL company, but really an aerospace defense and advanced air mobility platform. So I guess my first question, maybe to build on the last question, is, in terms of the synergies and overall structure for the company, what are the key synergies that investors should be aware of? How will you prioritize the eVTOL business with the drone business? And what are you most excited about today's announcements? Thank you.
Thanks, Andres. There's a lot of synergies here across the platforms, but there's also a really nice strategic rationale here where you have the large market of civil passenger carrying aircraft that has an incredibly large TAM, but also, I would say, some difficulty predicting exactly how fast it will scale and exactly when it will scale. And so we're going through, obviously, the certification process, which is very rigorous, and we're doing very well at that. And so as we've looked at accelerating our path towards revenue, the defense side of the business becomes very attractive as there are pathways to launch autonomous products in different airspace that are just much easier to get to market more quickly. And so if you think about sort of the portfolio strategy here, there's ability to generate revenue, generate cash flow, use that cash flow to help really get us to profitability much sooner and reduce our burn across the civil markets, which can allow the overall strategy to build much better products and build a much bigger company for the long term while minimizing the dilution. And so, again, this is still early days in us, figuring out the exact strategy on how to deploy it. But I think that general framework is how we're thinking about it. And the enhanced capabilities we get from the Wisk platform, Insitu platform, and SkyGrid platform gives us a really nice go-to-market that we did not have before.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That's super helpful. Thanks, Adam, for all that color. Maybe just a quick follow-up, coming back to your recent unveil of your first dual-use aircraft jointly built with Anduril. Just help us understand, how are you thinking about commercialization of Thunder and Halo, and how might those be complementary to Midnight? Thank you.
Thanks, Andres. So we're building the core platform, the base platform, which we call Halo. And that will have all of the kind of basic functionality that aircraft needs to operate. We can then take that aircraft and give it to Anduril, which will ultimately missionize that aircraft. And so that's something that Archer is not doing. That's something that Anduril is going to be doing for the ultimate end defense products. There, of course, will be different programs of record that platform will go after on the Thunder side. But on the Halo side, there are customers that we will go after that have needs that have a similar use case without any of the defense capabilities. So think search and rescue or offshore energy, areas where you need to carry more payload, much longer distances than what the Midnight platform would be. So we've already announced an early customer, which is Martyn, and there's been a ton of inbound, and we've had a lot of interest with existing customers we've been working with to find new solutions. So the goal will be to find ways to take that platform and build it as quickly as we can, but also really try to minimize the spend on that platform by leveraging a lot of the core capabilities that we've already built from the Midnight platform. So like another great example, is the flight control system, where we are leveraging a lot of the work that we had started with Midnight, but now we can also enhance with Boeing. So ultimately, the goal is a low-cost platform that can really scale significantly. And by having civil and defense capabilities, you get really both those benefits.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Congrats again. Exciting new times. We'll pass it on.
Thanks.
Your next question comes from the line of
Still
James
waiting
Kirby
for the
from
two
JP
questions.
Morgan. Please go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Congrats on the transactions. Maybe just following up, asking a different way from the previous question. Where do you see Insitu fitting into the longer-term portfolio at Archer? And maybe just could you just speak to the extent you can on the revenue growth drivers in that business?
In the ISR world, the revenues that you see today are largely a result of the macro environment and the sales that happened from years ago. So when you look forward from here, it seems very clear that there will be an increased demand for ISR drones, not just overall, but even new capabilities. And so there is a broad set of new products that are being requested. And I think there is a huge market growth potential across the broader ISR world. So in the very near term, there will be revenue and cash flow that will be generated from the existing product portfolio, but there's a whole new suite of products that can be built, that could be expanded, and generate a significantly higher revenue given the macro environment we live in today.
Okay, got it. I appreciate it. And then for my second question, I wanted to ask you to unpack the collaboration agreement with Boeing a little bit more. It seems from the shareholder letter and the press release that they'll retain the Wisk autonomous stack for their future aircraft potentially. Does it go further than that in the sense of what you guys have been building at Archer with the Z platform and now SkyGrid on top of that, as well as what you're doing with the Halo Thunder platform? Does Boeing is there more avenues behind just the Wisk autonomous stack?
So the transaction was set up where Archer will own the IP, but we will share the IP back with Boeing as it relates to products built specifically around flight control systems, autonomy, and several other areas. The concept is really one of partnership. So Boeing took all stock in the transaction, they locked up the stock, and we will work together through a collaboration agreement on enhancing and developing that product portfolio and also future products. Boeing, of course, has an entire suite of plans on both the civil and defense side. So there are lots of areas that I'm sure that they are interested in developing. From the Archer perspective, it gave us the ability to have a head start on a lot of the core autonomy stack, the pathway to certifying the autonomy stack on the civil side, and a pathway to deploying the flight autonomy on the defense side. And so it really is a win-win here, where by Archer developing this platform across flight controls, flight control computers, full autonomy, Boeing can benefit too. And by them taking all stock, it's really a win-win across the transaction.
That's great. I appreciate the questions, Adam.
Thanks.
Your next question comes from the line of Austin Moeller from Canaccord Genuity. Please go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. So for the Insitu acquisition, should we be thinking about this from the context of Boeing already manufactures a variety of like Group 1 through Group 3 or Group 4 drones under that product line, and also the EO/IR gimbal payloads that go on them, and you can now combine those products with the Group 5 Thunder drone and also incorporate the gimbal payloads onto Thunder, the green version of the Thunder airframe that you could sell commercially or internationally to other MODs?
So Insitu manufactures the drones themselves. It's not being manufactured by some other Boeing entity. It's all contained within Insitu. And Archer will start, producing those drones and looking at ways of, scaling up the capabilities there. As it relates to, other companies and working with other companies, I think right now we're going to be focused on really building just the core products that Insitu sells, and really trying to grow that fleet, and not really trying to push that to some other customers or other partners that Archer has. And so that's going to be the core focus: is how do we get that portfolio in a really healthy spot? How do we take advantage of the macro environment that we're in, where there's an increased demand for these types of products, and really try to increase the manufacturing, of Group 2, Group 3, Group 4 drones that they manufacture today.
Okay. And if we're thinking about the roadmap to getting to Thunder first flight in 2027, just given it's a dual tilt rotor design, can you just talk about some of the puts and takes and challenges to get to that point next year?
Yeah. Hey, Austin, this is Tom. Well, like I was mentioning to Savi earlier, while the aircraft looks pretty different, standing 100 feet away, if you look under the skin, the platforms, the systems on board are really similar. So again, flying with the same battery technology, same electric motor technology, same flight control software. In fact, we literally took the actual code that flies Midnight, put it in the sim for Halo, and the aircraft flew beautifully without any control design specific to that platform, which obviously we'll go do. So, certainly there's a lot of hard work for the team. We're excited about partnering with some of the new folks joining, as part of this deal, and feel really good about it.
Awesome. I'll pass it back there. Thanks.
Your next question comes from the line of Amit Dayal. Apologies. Your next question comes from the line of Edison Yu from Dutch Bank. Please go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking our questions, and congratulations on the deal today. First thing I want to ask is, you've obviously picked up quite a few assets over the last couple of years, right? You think of Overair, you think of the Lilium patents. I guess, what is the vision here on putting together all these assets? And I think, with Wisk, you obviously have a lot of autonomy stuff. So just could you maybe share the vision? You have all these assets, and including you got some of them for a very good price. What is the vision on putting these all together, and what we will get?
Thanks, Edison. This is Adam. So some of the previous acquisitions we've done that focused a lot on the early patent portfolios that existed in the eVTOL space were a result of companies that were either shutting down or going out of business. And so I think that was pretty different, where there were groups that had spent hundreds of millions, or in some cases greater than $1 billion, developing IP that was available for us to pick up at a very low dollar cost. And in fact, we're heavily competed, across the the eVTOL community, as there was some very interesting IP there. As it relates to Wisk, Insitu, and SkyGrid, it's a totally different and unique value proposition. A lot of this just came about as there are products and platforms that I think are actually more valuable as it relates to Archer than might have been in the hands of Boeing. So, for example, Boeing is focused on some of the biggest platforms in the world. So big platforms like an F-47 or 737. Insitu is a much smaller company, but that impact to Archer is substantial versus the impact, even if Insitu 5X would have minimal impact to Boeing. So our investment in that platform can have substantial rewards in the very near term. And so in a lot of the cases that these assets actually can perform much better on our side. The same thing as it relates to air traffic control. So the ATC product SkyGrid is highly attractive to us for two reasons. One is there's a macro environment where air traffic control needs to get upgraded. And two, we've been building this foundation model Z that's highly complementary to that product, that really can enable that product in a way that they couldn't have done by themselves. So by combining them together and allowing Archer to focus on it, we can get to market in a new space that is, I think, going to be ultimately very valuable, but will start out small. Again, probably more difficult for a larger company to go after just because of the size of the starting base.
Gotcha. And just follow up on Boeing. Obviously, Boeing's now a partner, very big investor in Archer. How does one think about the future areas of collaboration? I don't know if you can elaborate more than what was announced in press release. It seemed like this is pretty long term. They clearly trust you guys a lot. Any kind of color you can provide there? Thank you.
I don't want to speak for Boeing and speculate on from their perspective. But what I'm hopeful is that Archer can be a great partner to Boeing, and by building a lot of these advanced capabilities and really taking the torch and completing the task on a lot of the products that they had built, and then sharing some of that IP back with Boeing to enable some of their products, I think that would make it a true win-win, and that's really my goal.
Understood. Thank you.
Thanks.
Your next question comes from the line of Amit Dayal from H.C. Wainwright & Co. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and congrats on today's announcement. A really interesting setup for you guys going forward. Adam, can you maybe just provide some additional color on what allows you to keep the burn rate contained, despite recent developments with Andrew and now Boeing?
Sure. So I can't say much as it relates to the transaction, just given where we are in that process. But as I mentioned before, if there ever were two companies that could come together, these are really attractive because we have the same architecture to start. So there's a lot of great synergies there where we can be working on. The second is we do have multiple programs, and on the defense programs, the goal is to have, programs ultimately won where R&D dollars can be created. And then Insitu also provides a platform to generate cash flow. And so when you put all this stuff together, we're going to work really hard to do this, but the goal is to keep the cost structure similar.
Understood. And then just a follow-up, in terms of the next set of milestones for Halo Thunder, can you maybe give us some sense of, what some of those catalysts could be?
Yeah, hey, Amit, this is Tom. So like I mentioned, we're working hard to get the aircraft in the air next year. And obviously, in the background, there's work going on the kind of customer program side that I can't get into details on. But we're pretty confident we'll be in the air next year. And then, the idea is the whole idea of going to market with a defense product first, or I should say the defense variant of the dual use vehicle, is that the certification pathway is much more straightforward. So like this first vehicle will have a military specific airworthiness, and then will incrementally be sort of increased from there as we get into civil markets. And so that really just provides a great setup to take this technology that's already been hardened on Midnight and get it out there, in flying products very rapidly.
Understood. Thank you, guys. That's all I have.
A reminder, if you would like to ask a question, to please press star 1 on your telephone keypad.
An issue on that end.
At this time, I would like to turn the call over to Adam for our retail questions. Adam, please go ahead.
Thanks. There's been a lot of questions on Archer's priorities, commercial versus defense, and how should we think about which will be the larger revenue driver in profitability. So we are certainly not taking our eye off the prize on Midnight. Midnight is core to our platform here at Archer, and we will work on that platform and get it to market. But defense does give us a pathway to deploy products faster, and that does come with revenue and learnings. And now with Insitu, we'll be generating substantial revenue in a high growth industry, which can help bridge the path to getting to profitability sooner. And so with Thunder, we'll look at, the Halo Thunder platform. We're looking at several, multi-decade programs of record with allied forces, but the commercial markets will remain the larger market, and we have not taken our eye off the prize there.
At this time, there are no further questions. I will now turn the call back to Adam for closing remarks. Apologies, we actually have one more question from the line of Savi Syth from Raymond James. Please go ahead.
Okay, thanks for the additional question. Could you kind of briefly talk about, I think Priya mentioned that maybe software generating kind of revenue and profitable by kind of the back half of next year. Just generally kind of what needs to happen on that line to kind of get that generating cash flow?
Sure, Savi. So I think, part of this has to do with Z, which is our Archer's Aviation Foundation model. And so a way to think about it is, America's airspace moves over 3 million people per day, and it's built on systems from decades ago. And the data behind all of those flights are siloed from cockpits to towers. And so Z turns that data into single intelligence layer that gives pilots, airline operators a window into the future. So think better decisions, safer, more efficient operations. So Z is like the brain, and we're building products that will span 3 markets: pilot applications, air traffic management, and airline operations. And we've designed it to be built anywhere that aviation is needed, whether it's in the cloud or on the edge, which is fully offline. So it's not theoretical. These are already discussions we're having with government agencies, industry partners, and in early deployments. So the goal is to take those products, send them out into the market. We've seen a lot of interest in them and start producing revenue and ultimately profitability.
Got it. And then if I might, just on the eIPP and flying in LA, just wondering kind of the progression there, what milestones you need to kind of meet flying in LA before you start working on eIPP. Just any high level kind of flight testing updates.
Hey, Savi. So first, just real quick at the high level testing update, we've flown over 150 piloted test flights, and we're flying up to 5 times a day and many flights over 50 miles, and we're flying between airports now. So, and of course, we're on track to full transition later this year. So lots of great progress on the piloted flight test front. With regards to eIPP, as we talked about last quarter, you can expect us to begin that initial eIPP operations later this year. And that plan is largely on track. And so we'll start with CTOL, and then we've got more aircraft coming on at the end of this year and beginning of next year, and then we'll roll further as we go. So I think that probably captures your question. Back to you.
It does. Thank you.
At this time, there are no further questions. I would now like to turn the call back over to Adam for closing remarks.
Well, thank you everyone for joining the call today. It was an important day for Archer, and I think the broader industry. I'm grateful for everyone here at Archer for all of their tireless work. And I also want to say how appreciative I am of Kelly Ortberg and the Boeing team for their trust throughout this transaction that we announced this morning. So thank you everyone for joining, and we look forward to sharing more over the course of the quarter.
This concludes today's call. Thank you all for attending. You may now disconnect.
You may all disconnect. That was an interesting call. No major blowout news, as I said. We didn't get any update on the eIPP. Didn't get any update on the UAE operations. Didn't get any progress on certification. Does it mean that Archer have completely pushed this to one side and are focusing on the defense as they sort of led us into it a couple of quarters ago? Very interesting. Very interesting. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. The bottom line is the market not surprised on the earnings, on the results. I mean, I was a bit too much of a hype. Hang on, I've got a mosquito in here. That was a bit too much of a hype in the morning, early in the morning. So I'm not surprised we are selling off. I would not be surprised if we sell off tomorrow. I would not be surprised if we start heading to the lower levels through the coming weeks. That is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong against Archer. They are building a solid, I think they are building very solid position. Archer 2 quarters ago and Archer now looks much more mature and ready for the actual operations. However, we still don't have update on the deployment, when they are going to deploy. November 704 Alpha X-Ray has not completed the full transition piloted yet. And we don't have any update on certification either. It's interesting because Archer, they usually give us that little matrix where you can see the progress, what has been ticked, what is done, what is complete. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. Let's see how the markets are going to digest it. I want to see I want to see new updated ratings from the analysts as well. That is something that can give us good guidance and good clue of what's going on or what we can see. Yeah, I'm quite, not that I'm puzzled. I know that the big news took presidency over it, but it felt a bit hollow, that earnings report. And again, I don't mean this in a bad way at ACHR. It's just, yeah, I'm digesting it. Interesting. Interesting. Anyway, let's go through the comments. Let's see what you are thinking about it. Let's see what is your thoughts. And yeah, let's answer all your questions. Let's not go all the way through them. Let's pick it up from here, from the super chat. Feels like the effect sounds is rather loud compared to the mic sound. Okay, thank you, Jamie. I'll drop it a bit. Waiting for the call is like being on the bus full of gold from the Italian job. Do you think it's gonna go up, Vaz? No, I actually think it's gonna start selling off actually in the coming days. That's why I told you in the morning, take your profits, and I hope you did. Hope you did. And again, it's nothing bad at Archer. I'm not having a go or waging a war against Archer now. I think this will be the immediate reaction. Toby knows everything. I love that name. If this is a good call, no. I'm very confident. We wouldn't. I think the $7. My mic is very low. Hang on, bear with me. I'm getting a message from Martyn. What's going on here? I'm having some issues here. Okay, it's better now. So I think even if the news were if there were good news and good progress on the call, I don't think we could see around over the $7 because the morning it just showed us this morning it just showed us what pretty much was the high. Because if it was such a breakthrough news, if there wasn't a dilution, if there was not the earnings in the air, if there was better sentiment and better macro, I would imagine Archer could run higher, but probably not here. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if we start selling off tomorrow. So just a little hint for you. It's not a financial advice. I could be wrong. Can have a massive run up tomorrow, but I doubt it now. DJ Hayes, the view would be better inside a Joby. I would probably agree because Joby has more open space cabin, and the windows are slightly higher. But I will leave it to you to decide. That is one sexy aircraft, says Alan Solo. Thank you for joining. I love it. Thank you. Anyone else thinking the front end of Midnight looks like the front end of Romulan Warbird, says Jamie Reese. I have no idea what that is, but fair enough. High energy Archer is going to a military stock. I agree. I just changed my sell order to 650 for a small amount of my shares that I bought for 5. Not bad. Not a bad strategy. That's what, 30%? 30% gain. No moving at all. Correct. What is everyone's favorite VTOL stock, eVTOL stock long term? Interesting question. Archer long term and strong, says high energy. Great future guidance. Yeah, the joke Leo. Bonsoir à tous. Bonsoir à tous. If I said it right. Good evening, everyone. Translated. Happy trader, happy wife. Lovely call so far. Thank you. I love you. I like you enjoyed it. Word free speech. Archer Aviation is going to 20 or 30 bucks with a little pull back before it hits 100. I butted you off on Saturday because we didn't have time to address this. But world of free speech, would you like to elaborate on it? Why? Because that is a very bold, prediction. 20 to 30 bucks in a very short term. That is a very bold prediction. prediction. 5 countries are waiting for their Archer aviation deliveries. Well, 5 countries are waiting for certification first, type certification first. And that is why Archer need to come out with their timeline. They need to tidy up their timeline. They need to tighten up their timeline. And they need to complete their transition flight. Then they can complete once we okay. This is the timeline. This is the sequence. Yeah, we complete the full transition. We don't do only one flight. We do like the whole course of test flights. We complete it. We collect the data we need. We are happy. Hopefully, we are happy with the aircraft performance, with the design. We don't need to do any alterations. That's option A. Option B has got 1 or 2 inter sort of steps, intermediate steps. We are not happy with the performance of the aircraft. Get back to the design board, do some whether smaller or bigger tweaks, and then come back to testing again. So that's slightly longer path. It's like 2 or 3 steps. Dito. Then, once we are happy with the data collected and the performance of the aircraft, we can complete the aircraft there at the production line. From the call a couple of quarters ago, we got an update that it's about half a dozen of aircraft at various stages of production or assembly. So all these aircraft will be completed once we are comfortable with the design and confident. Once these aircraft are completed, we can start thinking of where are we going to operate them and deploy them. Is it going to be the Mid East? Is it going to be the eIPP? Is it going to be testing, further testing? Is it going to be certification? It's not easy. And Archer, I mean, the clock is ticking now for Archer. Because I was really hoping we would see some certification progress, or at least the timeline of their deployment. Very interesting. I'm full of thoughts. I just want to sort of lay out some clear, structured thoughts at you, and my head is full of it now. Flight routes are determined for 10 states. Yes, correct. The eIPP, World Free Speech. Thank you. World Free Speech. And they will be flying to and from the Olympic Stadium. Yes, that will be the peak of the eVTOL sector before the 2030 and global deployment, if you will. Why is the stock not moving? Because they didn't tell us anything new, really. Just repeated the news from the morning. High energy investment. We are a little early. Okay. Give it 6 months at the Olympics. Yes, it will be, but we need to get there first. Yes, the Olympics will be huge. I've been in Archer for a long time. We know that. Remember, Speed was flying in a chat. Oh, please don't tell me about that. Goofbag. No, please. Please don't. I hope he's not gonna fly in Archer. Please. Rob's, yeah, I didn't press 1. We didn't have any questions. Edison from Deutsche Bank was a big bull on Neo. Look what happened. Good point. Thank you, Howdy. Archer stayed below $5 for so long that people are taking profit. Yeah, possibly. Like Vaz, yeah. Paris, why is no one asking about the FAA certification? Exactly. And when flights will start in the United States and Abu Dhabi. Exactly. Or how many midnights are built through the final assembly? Yeah, I think we still are holding that half a dozen of aircraft. Because there's no point completing the assembly of the aircraft and then just if something is wrong with the design, just to tear it up again and rebuild it again. So I'm just waiting. Jim is here, getting here late, but I made it for the end. Thank you, Jim. You want to replay that, definitely. No word on funding coming from Stellantis. That's another thing. Haven't heard from Stellantis for a while. And Stellantis have recently been through a restructuring of their business. They are shifting their strategy as well. They are shifting from the electric and hybrid towards leaning more towards the combustion engines. So is this in favor of ACHR? We don't know. And again, I would love to hear an update. Jim Newsong, Vaz, great time to buy vertical. What happened? I think ACHR has now bought 2 other companies. Maybe they should put in. Oh, please. Well, basically, what happened? Vertical. I will be talking about it tomorrow on my eVTOL Daily. Vertical have announced they have access to $100 funding. $100 million funding. Pardon me. $100 million in funding. This funding is unfortunately tied to a dilution. And reason why Vertical Aerospace's shares were tanking, it's because of the dilution. And again, we'll have a look into that tomorrow. Big news for the company. Not so big news for you as an investor. But I'm not saying I don't recommend sell before the earnings. It's not financial advice. I want to wait for the earnings. We are only 3 sleeps away. If you look at it, we are only 3 sleeps away. The price is not going to swing massively. It's not going to be any more volatile than it is now. And if you are there for a long term, it's not going to make any difference if you are buying it for 80 cents or $1.20, because the long term upside will be much bigger with Vertical. So, yeah, that is my 2 cents. DJ Hayes, I feel that they are running before they can walk. Good insight. Good opinion. Let me just check something. Quickly. Oh. Okay. World Free Speech. Oh, John Granford is here as well. Vast, great show. What I heard was alarming. I've spent most of my life in aviation. If Joby states commercial flights a month from now and ACHR is taking a back seat, yeah. Interesting insights. I mean, I'm glad this is coming from you. I'm glad this is not coming from me. We have some intelligent retail investors here on board. It's not like a fun club. Thank you for your opinions. I love it. I appreciate it. I really appreciate genuinely. It's coming from you. It's great. Thank you, John and Jim and everyone. ACHR going to $100. Look at Hustle Brothers and their live report on ACHR. No comment, guys. I think it will stay above. Thank you for joining anyway, World Free Speech. Thank you for choosing our platform as well and my event. I appreciate it. And again, look, I want to talk to you. I want to have discussion with you. I want to meet you. I want to know your insights. Because you are seeing it from the other side. You are seeing it from the fanboy side and the bros side. So yeah, I would definitely, you are more than welcome on my show. I mean, everyone is welcome on our show as long as you are respectful and you are not insulting us and spamming and insulting other members. I mean, everyone is welcome here. This is a safe space. People are getting this wrong. This is a safe space. I'm not dismissing anyone. I'm not insulting anyone. I've never insulted anyone in the comments over their opinion, did I? Jim, I think it will stay above 6. If not, then I will buy back what I sold off today for profit. I mean, Jim, congratulations. Nice one. I will be buying. I will start laddering in on dips. I wanna see probably a couple of days how the macro conditions and how the stock chart is going to develop. But yeah, definitely. I'm trying to I will start laddering in. Definitely. Thank you for covering. Vaz, says Yolanda. Congratulations. You made profit today, didn't you? John Granford, I was pro ACHR starting to lean towards Joby. Interesting. I love your insights tonight. Thank you. Brandon Nemeth. Is the Jetsons 1 on the market? No, they are not. And I have reached out to Jetsons 1 previously. I may have an external contact that can bring them on the show, because I definitely, it's such an amazing piece of kit, such an amazing aircraft, and I quite like the business as well. They literally started. Thank you. Thank you for your special message, our special guest.
A Descent Improvement Hub tipped $4.99 through Super Chat. Thank you, Vaz, including the hard work and research that we don't see as viewers. Your due diligence and dedication is immensely appreciated. Praying gesture emoji.
Thank you. I love the message. Thank you. Very nice. Very positive as well. Yeah, there is a lot of work, but you don't need to know, do you? Brandon, yes. Jetson 1, working on it. I want to get them on the show. I mean, look, I want to fly one. I want to fly one. Because they have the 2-seater version as well for emergency medical services. I mean, yeah. Robs, thank you, Vaz. Now time to rest. Yeah, I'll be going to take some rest very, very soon. Thank you. And I need to get ready for tomorrow. We're not slacking off. We are not slacking off. World free speech. Yes, ACHR needs to step up because of China. Head speed flying. Yeah, please don't talk about a goof bag. It was so stupid. I mean, yeah, it was good PR for EHang, but it was such stupid, wasn't it? Jim, I'm thinking, and actually, I played a clip of that on one of my shows, and YouTube flagged it as copyright, and we had to cut it. We literally had to edit it from the video. I mean, I was literally playing like a short video or something, and YouTube highlighted this as a copyright, and we literally had to cut those 15 or 10 seconds from the video, from the stream. It was just stupid. Jim Newsong, I am thinking ACHR is now just looking more to selling planes, a little bit on air taxis, but Joby has definitely got the lead in that. So like Beta, they will focus on several different planes, in my opinion. I mean, what ACHR are gonna do for the next 4 quarters or 5 quarters? Because Halo or Thunder is expected to fly 2027. It's not going to be 6 months. It'll be probably 8, 9, 10 months. So we are already coming close to mid-2027. Midnight, is Midnight going to be deployed by the end of the year? When? Where? To what extent? Where is ACHR gonna get all their revenue? World Free Speech. The long-term holders will be rewarded with $100 soon before it already takes off. The new helicopters of the sky are the drones, much safer. Or the drones, much safer. I agree, it's much safer. We just need a bit of catalyst. We just need to, the hype around the eVTOL sector, the Tesla washing machine, frenzy. You will not get this for a while. You will not get this for another 6, 9, maybe 12 months. The market is fairly careful about the eVTOL sector now. And not only ACHR, Joby, Vertical Aerospace, Horizon Aircraft, and more. So I don't think we will see any massive run-ups. We will see a good run towards the end of the year. I don't think we will see any squeezes, any pushes. 30, 40% in one day. I don't think so. Maybe when Joby deploy under the eIPP, when they fly their first flight in Texas. Maybe when Joby take first passenger on board. Possibly. I don't see any massive catalyst. Vertical Aerospace, when or if they announce their sort of defense and military sector engagement, that could be your opportunity. Horizon Aircraft, when they announce a deal, there has been a rumor that in talks with Bombardier, when Horizon Aircraft complete and sort of commission their full-size, full-scale prototype. These are the catalysts I can see, but they are just individual catalysts. It's not like the whole eVTOL sector. So the only catalyst I can see along the way by the end of the year that can affect the global or the whole eVTOL sector is the eIPP in Texas, Joby, first flight and possibly first passenger flight, and Dubai deployment. I don't think we will have a certification complete, the FAA type certification, very likely not complete by the end of the year. And what else? What else can trigger the massive sentiment shift? I didn't say that. World Free Speech. Long-term holders will be rewarded $100. I mean, yeah, long-term, but not now. Here listening and driving, says Sir Joey. Thank you for joining. And Nick Jones, appreciate it as always. All these supporters, all the regulars, I love it. Ascent Improvement Hub. Thank you for your lovely message. Thank you, Vaz, including the hard work and research that we don't see as viewers. Your due diligence and dedication is immensely appreciated. Thank you for a lovely message. I'm giving you a like on behalf of Martyn. And I should be showing you the chat messages as well, shouldn't I? Markup is here. You forgot my 2 questions. Markup, where were your 2 questions? Oh, sorry, I missed it. Hi, after this conference call, thank you for reminding me. Do you think the stock will gain or lose value tomorrow compared to its current price? Sorry to go off topic, but I've also been a vertical investor for 3 years. What happened today? Is the company finished? Well, vertical, I think Okay, let's just get this straight. Vertical aerospace is not going bankrupt. The share price has got nothing to do with financial position or cash balance of the company. If they get delisted, the company is still alive. The company is traded over the counter. And under certain circumstances, they can get relisted back again. Or I didn't know this until I've been through Velo 3D. Velo 3D printing, possible aerospace and defense engagement, metal 3D printing. They build their own 3D printers as well, because metal 3D printer, that's a hell of a machine. That's not like your little 3D printer that poops filament through a little nozzle. Metal 3D printing is a very complex thing. And I was going to start a business in this, so I know a bit of that, about that. They got delisted from, I think, New York Stock Exchange. They were traded because they got that notice, the non-compliance, and they extended it. They appealed. They got that 6 months. Didn't comply. Didn't want to do any more reverse stock splits because it made no sense for them. And they were traded over the counter. Through most brokerages, you would still get access to them. There would be like 2 or 3 or 4 slots through the day where the transactions would be going through. So if you put your sell order on the opening bell, that would come through, say, I don't know, 2 hours after the opening bell. And you would still get access to the company, to the stock. But it's not interesting now because the volume is low. What are they doing? There's less control. There's less regulations, obviously, supporting their operations and stock transactions. And people just got less interested in them. Few months fast forward, I think it was about a year, they appeared to be listed on NASDAQ or vice versa, whether it was New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ or NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange. They got listed again on a different exchange. So, I mean, even if you get delisted, there's so many ways you can access the capital through stock transactions. And yeah, it's quite an interesting story. And I think they are not doing badly. They just needed a time. And unfortunately, you know that the stock action on the stock chart, very often, especially with startups or mainly with startups, doesn't correspond with the business position and the business progress. So vertical aerospace is not going under. On Thursday, if they have access to $100 million, I can imagine they will say their runway could be another 12 months. They have access to the full $850 million package of funding to get them through certification. It could be painful. For the retail investor, it could be painful. Not so much for certain institutions because they have certain agreements, they have warrants, they have certain mechanics to prevent it. But for us as a retail investor, could be painful. That's what I'm saying. Let's wait for Thursday. Let's see what news they're gonna come out with. Let's see what is the full story. And then we can realign our instruments. And yeah, I don't think we will see any big run up on ACHR. I think ACHR will start tanking. The more I'm thinking about it, I think ACHR will start tanking. Markup, I'm seeing your most recent message. So you think vertical won't end up like Lilium or Volocopter? I don't think in the very near or midterm. Let's see on the earnings call. If they say they have a runway for 12 or 18 months, I mean, it's there. It's there. They have access to the money. They have access to that funding. Currently, I don't think so, but I want to hear. I want to listen to the earnings call. Join me for the earnings call. Thursday, pre-market. Join me. It will be probably the most interesting earnings call in the recent history or of this year in vertical aerospace's most recent earnings. So thank you for your questions. Sorry I missed them. Thank you for reminding me as well. Where did we end up? World Free Speech, you're doing a great job. It's time to promote ACHR and tell family and friends because it will take off real good soon. Thank you for your appreciation. As I said, you are more than welcome in here. ACHR stock will take off vertically. Yeah. Nick Jones, World of Speech are the your only reason for saying ACHR. Yeah. Top show as always. Thank you, says Kurt. Thank you, Kurt. Let's just wrap it up quickly. Where are we? Hang on. What is this stupid chat doing? Sometimes it just jumps up and down. Why ACHR stock will take off vertically. They are cutting it fine. They are cutting it fine for the Olympics. Can't see them making the deadline. Well, this is the thing. When I spoke with Adam Goldstein a few months ago, it was a private chat. Now I can say it now. I couldn't get the answer on the scale of the Olympics deployment. And the answer was pretty much he said what they will allow us to do. So it was quite interesting because, as you said, they are cutting it fine. And this could be as the necessary bare minimum to just tick the boxes and say, we were there, we were flying athletes. If it's like, think of like the basketball finals or the track and field, I don't know, 100-meter sprint, the top disciplines, the final events, they could be just flying in few athletes from the USA, from the Team USA. Or it can be wider and they can be operating up to 50, 60 aircraft. Very interesting because the clock is ticking. We are what? We are 20, 22 months away from the Olympics. World of Speech, Nick Jones, 106. No, I'm expecting, to be honest right now, 20 or 30 bucks before a slight pullback. And then comes the real takeoff. Closer to the Olympics commercial. I agree with that. The takeoff, but 2030, that is a very bold prediction. John Granfor, great job, Vaz. Thank you. Thank you, John, for being here. Not eVTOL, but XRP just hit $1. Well, let's have a look at that very shortly. World of Speech, XRP transfers are surpassing Bitcoin transfers only in Korea and Japan. I am not a crypto guy, but XRP has been doing it in Asia, soon Europe, Africa, South America. There you go. Nick Jones, yeah, I'm just wondering what you have based your thinking on, and currently it's just what some YouTubers have told you. Don't get me wrong, I'm heavy in Archer as well and any other eVTOLs. Brandon, look up Stark Futures custom 3D printer. I will have a look. I'll have a look. Thank you. Nick Jones, of long-term growth, but 100 soon based on nothing is a bold claim. Word of speech, a lot of use in the way for Archer, like ambulance, the flying, firefighting, joyrides, and private rich owners and their yachts. Yeah, the private deployment. I wonder what percentage of the private deployment or private purchases will be, because the price tag on Midnight is expected to be around $5 million. Would you up the price tag to sell this as a luxury product to a millionaire, billionaire for his private yacht and gain more margin from this, more revenue or profit? Sorry, more revenue and profit. Interesting. Markup. So you think vertical? Let's wait for the earnings call. I don't want to give you any answer. Let's wait for the earnings call. I wouldn't be buying it now. Wait for the earnings call. Jim, I bought more vertical when it sank. Now over 3,000 at 98 cents. Nice one. That's good. As I know, they need to go up above $1 or get delisted. Yeah, again, there's a lot of mechanics to it. I will talk about it tomorrow, delisting. Markup, thanks, Vaz. Starlight, thanks for the stars as well. Markup, thanks, Vaz. I hope you are right, because I invest all my money in these 3 companies, Vertical, Archer, Joby. I hope that at least one of these will increase a lot the stock value. Again, let's talk about it tomorrow. The only way is up, Nick Jones. I love it. World Free Speech. Quite big preparations for Archer in Texas, and their airports are having major rebuilding. Yes. Zach is here. Fly, taxi, fly. Thank you very much. Who do you think has a better position in the eVTOL sector? Archer, Joby, or both? Fairly tight race. I like it. Archer 37, Joby 39, and both 24. So you don't have a clear winner. It's only by 2 votes. By 2%, that's probably 1 vote. It's quantity. Interesting. Very interesting. Join me. Whoa. Join me tomorrow. Let me just check if we are ready for the next event. We are going to take you where you need to be taken. Yes. So, I think it's time to wrap it up. I will see you tomorrow, or Wednesday, or Thursday morning, or Thursday afternoon, or Friday, or Saturday, or whenever. I'll be here, and I know you will as well. As, who was it? As Nick Jones says, after me, the only way is up. Thank you for watching, and thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed today's call and all the updates. Take care of yourselves and each other.